In this video, we'll look at using the blocks for subtraction, especially 3-digit numbers. So what are the things they should know for it? The first thing is they should be very comfortable with place value, which means if you say 234, for example, they should be able to show that that's 2 hundreds, and then there's 30, and then there's 4. And then there's 4. There should not be any difficulty in this, and what this means is not only should they be able to put it together, they should be able to write it. This seems trivial, but this is a very important step. So let's say we are going to use green for ones, so they should be able to write that this is the same as 4 of these, 3 of these, and 2 of these. So use different colors for ones, tens and hundreds. This will help make sense of what we are doing, because otherwise the digits in themselves don't represent their weight. When they do with blocks, the ones are small, the tens are 10 times as big as the ones, the hundreds are 10 times as big as the tens, and 100 times bigger than the ones. They can see it, but when we write it down, we cannot see it. So it's very important that when we are writing it down, we use different colors to represent the fact that each of these digits mean different things. Then the second prerequisite is that they remember, or they know, that if you have a 10, that represents 10 ones, right? And you can use one more rod to sort of put it together. So that it looks neat. Right. And you can play a game with children where they have to see if it is possible for them, either with one hand or two, to be able to hold the tens. There are 10 different blocks, but can I do this? So it can be like a game, the same thing you can do with the hundreds. And then when you release it, you see, of course, there are 10 ones. So this process of exchanging a 10 for 10 ones is needed for your subtraction. Similarly, if you have 100, they should be able to see that these are 10 tens, which is the same as 100, right? So if you put it on top of each other, they all the edges will line up, and then again that you can have a game in which you are holding and shaking it, and at a point where it becomes 10 tens. Spend enough time with these two prerequisites. Okay, so now we are doing the subtraction. So we have 234, and I want to remove a number from it, and I want to remove, let's say, 175. Till children are comfortable, it's a good idea to actually use different colors, and you can use another color for all the things that are not numbers, for example. So there's no confusion. So 234, 175, and now I want to subtract. So I want to remove 5 out of these ones, and I can't do it. So I'm going to take one of these tens to help, and I'm going to break this down into 10 ones. So I exchange. So when I exchange, I need to take 10 ones that are the same height as this 10. So then I exchange this 10. It's the same number of blocks. This is very important for them to understand. It's the same number of blocks, right? But now I have 10 ones. Now in order to distinguish this from a regular one, I had 3 tens. 2 tens are left, and 1 10 has come here. So retain the same color. So you remember that's 2 plus 1 is this 3. Nothing magic has happened. You have just taken those 10 blocks and you made it into 10 ones. And in order to distinguish 10 ones, this 1 is not 1 plus 4. You're retaining it in the same color, that this is 10 ones. And together it's 14. So in 14, I can remove the 4 and one more, which is 5. These 5 I can remove. And when I remove these 5, there are 9 ones left. So you go back to your ones color and you write that there are 9 ones left. Next you can look at, okay, you have 2 tens but you need 7 tens. Now you don't have 7 tens to remove, so you need to again exchange 100 to get 10 tens. Yeah, and again you can line it up. Okay, so as you line it up, you see that these 10 tens represent this 100. So you keep aside the 100 and you use the 10 tens. Yeah, and it's very important that we use the pen and paper at the same time as we're using materials. Do not work independently because then that may get difficult to connect. So you can see here there's 100 left and I gave 100 to the I gave 10 tens, 100 is 10 tens, to the 2 tens that were there. So now you can see there are 12 of them. So they should be able to see what they are doing along with doing it. So now we have 12 tens, out of which I want to remove 7 tens. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I remove my 7 tens. Then I remove my 7 tens. I am left with 5 tens. And then when I remove 100, there's only 100, I remove it, there are no hundreds left. So I get 0. So the operation of doing anything with blocks should be associated with writing it down. And you can cross-check, cross-verify your answers by saying, okay, I have 59. If I add 175, I removed 175. So if I put 175 back, it should become the original number. So you can do that. You can add and check your answer. You can write it separately also, but it is also okay. So this is to check your answer. So this step is to check your answer. And you say, yeah, if I add this part, I'm guessing that they have already also done addition. But if they have not, then the same blocks you can use for doing the addition as well. Anyway, so you do 9 plus 5, you get 14, you'll get the same 14. So you have 4 and you give 1 carry. So now if you see, the reason why you put this in front and in addition why you put it on top becomes obvious, because you take another 9 ones, you will have to the 9 you add another 5 ones, then you know that you have enough to make a 10. So you can't represent one digit with 2, one color with 2, so you know you need to get 10. Yeah, not yet there. One more. You can also use the Cuisinart rods for this. Anyway, so this 10 ones I exchanged for 1 10, and then I added to that. Then I wanted to add 7 more 10s. So I add 7 10s. So again 5 plus 7 will be more than 100. So I exchange, if it's become too much, I exchange with a 100. So I have put 10 tens. Yeah, and because you can't represent 2 digits in a place of 1 digit, I'm putting 5 and 10 tens and I'm putting 100. And then finally I need to add 100. So I add 100. So then I added the 15 to the 7. I had 13. So that is 3 tens, and the 10 10 I made into 100. That's why I put it in the hundreds place and I put it on top. So you get them to distinguish between when you put it in front, because it still represents 100, and when you are putting it on top, because this represents, now this 13, you have exchanged 10 tens for 100. So that is 200, which is the same as the original result. So you can work through the blocks plus writing. If you just write, some children will get it, some children will just follow what you're saying. Sometimes they'll put it in the front, sometimes they'll put it in the top, and all that will happen. So this is one way that we can follow. That will make it systematic and consistent. So just to summarize, place value should be clear, exchange should be clear. Then you can do these two.